What up, crew? Happy freaking Wednesday. Agency Therapy Day, baby. Let's go. We love to see it. Hope you guys are doing well. We got a lot to jump into today. And by a lot, I mean a decent amount. Probably be a solid hour today. See how we're feeling. If you guys are in the chat, drop a little like. Drop a little like on the stream. Subscribe if you're not subscribed yet. We're dropping content all the time now. So you gotta be on the channel. But let me know you're here. Make some noise in the chat. Let me know what's up. Who's viewing in today? If you guys are excited for a little ClickUp, let's go. AP in the building. We'd love to see it. All right, team. We're hopping straight in today, and it's going to be a little different. I don't have anything prepared on the Miro board today. We're just going to jump straight into ClickUp on this one and be able to kind of show you guys some of the things that I've kind of learned in the past couple of years when it comes to project management. I have used a ton of project management softwares, anything from Asana to Monday.com, an app called Scoro, which is literally the worst application ever on the face of the planet. And then now ClickUp. So we're going to jump into ClickUp today, teach you guys a little bit about the things that I've learned over the past couple of years managing, a team of upwards of 28 people, and what we kind of found out of like how to best run a project management software with a little bit larger agency with a few people behind it, and making sure that you guys are optimized and make sure that people are following the process and you guys can essentially run a very efficient system. So let's hop in. I'm going to do a little share screen today. If you guys have questions as I kind of go through, feel free to ask in chat. Happy to fill you guys in on anything that we covered today, and happy to answer any questions. So drop those in chat. The more that you guys conversate, the more fun the stream is, especially for me, because we can answer some questions and we can specifically customize this out for you. But kind of what I want to jump into today is showing you just a little bit of background of like our space, and I'll go through and kind of explain different spaces and why we do certain things a certain way. So that way you guys can get a good feel and a good idea of everything that we kind of have going on inside of our own ClickUp space, and you guys can utilize some of these tools. And if you need help setting it up, let me know, and I can go into a little bit more detail on the setup and why we do things exactly the way that we do it inside of our ClickUp space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate this tab real fast and just bring it on over here. That way I can keep you guys up and active. And then we'll do a little share screen here and jump into it. Let's freaking go. All right, if you guys are amped up, drop me a little one in the chat. Gotta know you guys are here, man. Keeps me active, keeps me alive, knowing that you guys are around. All right, let's do it. One. All right, let's go ahead. I'm just gonna share my entire screen here because I think that's probably gonna be the best option. Boom. There we go. All right, so kind of pointing some things out for you guys. This is the home screen for ClickUp. It can be super useful. There's two ways that you can kind of navigate your day-to-day, specifically on ClickUp. You can utilize the home screen, which I think the home screen is gonna be a lot better when ClickUp 3.0 comes out. Right now, everyone's navigating on 2.0 until they release 3.0, which is supposed to drop later this year. There's going to be some new interface changes going on in ClickUp, as well as one, just an upgrade in performance, but also the interface is going to change. And one of the big interface changes that they're talking about is specifically the home screen. It's going to have more customization to it. You're going to be able to move things around. And like right now, like some things that I just do not like about the home screen, like the trending side of like stuff that you've worked on, like if we hover, this is like tasks you've worked on mostly today, and it like pulls those up, and I just hate that. I wish that was like completely gone. It's at the very top. I do like this lineup. I think that's kind of cool. And then more specifically my work, and then you can have your calendar on the side, and you can integrate it with your Google Calendar as well. So there are some neat features from the home screen, but a lot of times, like I don't know, I wish I could add stuff or take things away that were not really necessary, or things that I wanted to add. Like I would love to add widgets to this, but that sounds like something that they're bringing to the forefront for 3.0, but we just don't know a release date for 3.0. They said later this year, whatever that means. So, but the home screen is kind of helpful. What it does is it kind of gives you a collection of all of your tasks throughout all of your spaces. So say you're doing, you're still in some of the fulfillment of your agency. Say you're, maybe doing some marketing initiatives for the agency, and you have these all separated out in different spaces. Well, what this allows you to do is kind of bring everything into like one space. based off of like when the due date is, what the priority is on that specific task. And then things are just kind of organized. So this home screen is kind of nice because it will automatically organize this for you. But one thing I'm going to show you today is a dashboard that I've been kind of utilizing as of late, that helps me navigate just a little bit better. It's a little bit more custom. The one thing it doesn't include right now, which you can integrate a calendar into it. I just always have my Google Calendar up on a separate screen, so I just haven't integrated it. But I know you can integrate a Google Calendar. There's an embed feature. I tried it out. I just didn't like the way it looked, and so I took it out. So um, with that being said, home screen, it does work well. It doesn't have everything that I possibly want on here, but if you guys are like, hey, like I don't really want to set up dashboards, I just want to be able to navigate all my tasks for the day. Well, this is like the most simple way of doing that. So I feel like this is one piece that I wanted to point out just right off the rip was like, hey, utilize the home page. It is helpful when it comes to like kind of getting started on ClickUp. So if you guys are kind of confused on how that works, just a reminder, like from all of your spaces, anything that you're specifically tasked to will flow into um, your homepage. Okay, that's pretty much it. So let me show you kind of like the custom dashboard that I built out specifically for this. I'm actually not a huge fan of dashboards, only because I feel like people don't really look at them too often. So personally, that's just me. So it's like I don't take a lot of time building out like client dashboards or custom dashboards for really much anything. The only thing I really have is this Kobayashi dashboard. I made a copy of this. That way you guys can kind of see it as a blank template here. But there's some cool stuff that I kind of have in here is like active projects. So essentially, what I do with active projects is like this is just kind of my bullet list of like, hey, like if I throughout the day, like I have like these random thoughts and I'm like, hey, I need to get that done. So what I'll do is I just turn this into a checklist column. I'm like, hey, I totally forgot I need to like go pick up my laundry today. Go pick up laundry. Okay. And I can make like a little checklist for myself. And this is always open on my screen. So I can have like this checklist open and I can have like a running list. Okay. And then I have my weekly impact items. Okay. These are things that I'm working on for that day. Right. So I have a daily priority every single day of like, hey, if I have the worst day ever, there's one thing that I get done. This is the one thing. And what I do is I always reset this daily priority. For the day, right? So today was a lot of content creation. So for me, like I wrote a lot of like the agency therapy stuff today. Created thumbnails around it, all that good stuff. So like for this, it was just content creation, right? So I and more specifically agency therapy. Yeah. So designing a lot of stuff around that. So this is kind of nice from just like a standpoint of like, hey, like what are my weekly impact items, my things that I absolutely have to get done, and then my daily priority specifically for that day. So like on Wednesday, this is what I'm doing. Like I have to get this done, and then I have like a weekly impact list that I'll type out at the beginning. Actually, usually on Sunday of like all the things that I want to get done for the week. Will go into this list here. All right, and it's like a nice long list, and I work off this list. And essentially, all I do is when I complete one of these, it gets checked off, and then I simply just drag another one up, depending on the priority, right? So relatively easy. And then also, you could take tasks from here as well, and just work off of tasks if you'd rather do that. That's totally fine too. But sometimes I have like random priorities that aren't necessarily business related that I need to get done. Like I'm taking a trip with my wife. To Europe this winter, and so like I have to go like get our plane tickets, right? So I need to put that on my impact list because I can't wait on that. So I'm going to put plane tickets here, right? Okay, gonna go get my plane tickets today, right? And I'll make that an impact priority for this week, right? And then when I need to get it done, I'll drag it into the daily priority, and then I can see all the things that I kind of completed throughout the week. And this is kind of like a fun exercise for me, and it makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside when I have the opportunity to come in here and check these tasks off on a regular basis. So for this setup, for these pieces here, you just add a card. It's relatively easy, and then you do a text block. Okay, and then you can kind of customize that text block any way that you want. So that's kind of what I use this dashboard for. It's like kind of like my little homepage where I have all my to dos, right, that are like more business related, and I make sure that I'm working on these and I have due dates on them. So I'm working on the most recent ones. I don't have a whole lot right now because we're kind of getting towards the end of the month and I've actually completed a lot of my like main priorities for the month so far. But like by this Friday, like I have to set just better sales projections and targets for the team. So that's something that I'm going to be working on this week, and that's due by Friday. So at the end of the day, like there's not a whole lot to populate in here because I've completed a lot of the things that I needed to get complete. Yo, what up, Dylan? Lee Media with top 5 comment of all time. What did he say? 3.0 is going to come out before GTA 6. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know. GTA 6 might come out first. They've been talking about 3.0 for some time. Okay, cool. And then the next thing that I want to kind of point out here is I have a third card in here, third text block card that's just notes. And what I do with notes is a couple different things. As I'm chatting with clients or as I'm taking like sales calls, I just have a note section here that I'm just taking like daily notes. And this is kind of like a running list. So what I'll normally do is I'll date this. So this will just be like 6/21, right? And as I'm like chatting with prospects, as I'm chatting with clients, I'm just taking notes inside of here. And especially if it's something that needs to go into my CRM at a later time, which normally I could just pull up the note section, but I don't know what it is. I just like having my note section here of like all the notes for that day, and then I just kind of keep a running log on this note section, right? And as you kind of space out here, it obviously continues to expand, and I just make a new note section above this every day. So like tomorrow, this would be like 6/22, right? And I just make some more notes here. Okay. So Felix, what's up, man? Good to see you. Long time no see. Thanks for stopping by, brother. 10 minutes behind, catching up right now at 2x speed. Let's go. Super speed. Felix on the double time. You love to see it. Okay, so that's kind of what I use this note section for. And then the last thing, I'm pretty heavily involved in sales right now with our team. So the last thing that I kind of have embedded inside of this dashboard is actually our go high level. And I'll give you guys like a quick look here, and then quickly turn away, even though you could pause it. But essentially, go high level is just embedded for me because I want to be able to work inside of my project management software still, but still be able to kind of work deals and pull up things, do follow ups. Like I could do all of that within ClickUp still with an embedded feature. And guys, embeds are really easy. All you do is go to the add the card, and then there's a little piece down here that says embed. You can do custom embeds, and then they have some other stuff that you can embed in here as well. But you'll do a custom embed, and then whatever that embed URL is that you want to post in there, you can. Or if they give you like an HTML, it's a little bit more custom, you can do that here too. So a lot of custom features specifically on dashboards. This is kind of how I use mine on a regular and like daily basis. It's pretty simple. I don't overcomplicate it by any means. There's no reason for me to really go to like the next level of depth. Maybe there's some other stuff that I could put in here and other dashboards that I can build out, but I don't know. I'm a big fan of just keeping the project management software simple. There's really, there's no reason to add all of these features that ClickUp has. Like ClickUp has a lot of features. There's a lot of cool tools and toys and stuff, but I use ClickUp in the most simplistic form possible. So it doesn't get over convoluted, so it doesn't get complicated, right? At the end of the day, simplicity scales. That's one of my favorite quotes. Is that simplicity scales, right? So the more complex we make things, just the harder it becomes to use, and chances are you just don't want to use it as often. Okay, so kind of keep that in mind as you guys are, designing your project management software, as you're designing dashboards. You just don't need everything. Okay, minimum viable systems. That's what we always talk about. Minimum viable systems. Cool. Let's explore the spaces just a little bit here. So one thing I really wanted to point out in the live stream today was specifically our Wikipedia. Okay, this is a work in progress. I will tell you that this is not even close to complete yet. We have so much stuff that needs to go into our internal Wikipedia. But a couple things to kind of point out here, and I'll zoom in that way you guys can probably see this just slightly better. Okay. You'll see on the left-hand side here in the left-hand column that our Wikipedia kind of breaks out into a couple main operational lanes for the agency. So, marketing and lead generation being one of them. So, anything that has to do with marketing and lead gen that we need to create like an SOP or training around will go inside of that folder. Sales, okay, that one's pretty self-explanatory. This one is really just a couple different things, but like our sales Wikipedia is in there, and then as well as some of the resources that we use on a regular basis, closing clients. Like we have SOPs specifically built out in here. Once again, still work in progress. It's not all complete yet. We have a consulting and fulfillment. So we started to build a consulting team over here at Hydra. But for a lot of the agency owners that are specifically listening in on this, this would mostly be fulfillment for you guys, right? And we have, things like, hey, how do we onboard clients, consulting, wiki. And then we have two consulting wikis. Like some of it is in a more of um a document format. So like this is like our consulting ethos and specifically around operations. And Nicholas actually built out a lot of this, which has been super helpful. But kind of talking about certain lanes of the operation, when people should hire, and then what happens is it all gets linked inside of the Wikipedia, and these are all the new systems that we'll be building out here relatively soon, for our team. Okay, so this is definitely still a work in progress, but we have everything from HR to training and development for our internal team, and then more admin type stuff. So this is how we build out like our internal Wikipedia for like all of our systems, all of our resources. It starts at the space level, then we have folders, and then we segment those folders into more specifics of what the agency operation actually is. Dude, Kirch is cranking. He's crushing it. He's crushing it. So that's a little bit on the Wikipedia side. If you guys are like having a hard time with storage solution, this is a really easy way to set up your storage solution for your Wikipedia. So what we utilize as far as statuses here, this is kind of important to know. Is system needed and then ready to use. So what we'll do is we'll put a system into like a needed category. That means like, hey, like we have to create the system specifically on how to address clients struggling with client acquisition. Okay. So we'll come in here, we'll do that. And then what we'll do is we'll get a second pair of eyes on it for approval, just to make sure we tidy it up, having all the T's crossed and the I's dotted. And then once it kind of gets approval by the next person, we're gonna put it into the ready to use. Okay. So just kind of giving you some ideas there. When like it's always good to have a second pair of eyes on your guys' systems. Like, hey, like, is this how it goes? So, someone that might use the system, bring them in, have them check it out. That way it's not so reliant on just like one person. Have it get approved, even if that person isn't like your manager, right? But if they're going to use that system, you can have them kind of look at it. So, and then we move it to ready to use when it's finished, right? So the team knows like, hey, we're not using these right now, because they're not finished, right? Or not even started. So that's on the Wikipedia. Would highly recommend having a space specifically for as much of your knowledge and database as possible. Like at this point, we just like document everything, right? So we're capturing Loom videos. We're taking those Loom videos, downloading the transcripts, and this was in a previous training that I did. But we take those transcripts and we put them into Chat GPT and say, hey, and we prompt it like, can you create an SOP around this? And it'll take that transcript and create a step-by-step SOP with bullet points and everything. And so you can have all of that inside of your Wikipedia, which is really nice. So hopefully that makes sense. Let me know if you guys have questions on the Wikipedia. I know I kind of flew through that. That was kind of fast, but if you have questions on how to build this out or like, what you should be housing inside of here, but it's really nice. You can, hold attachments, you can embed Loom videos. I'm a big fan of like separating. Let me see if I can find one that's actually finished and looks good. I think this one would look good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool. So like this one just has the video. And like we still need to run the transcript on this one, but like you can embed a video, like so changing payment method. So how do we change a client's payment method in Stripe, right? And then we can have this here. It's a 1 minute video. People can come and watch this and learn how to do it, right? So relatively easy. So you should definitely check that out and build out your Wikipedia inside of ClickUp if you haven't yet. So let me know if you guys have questions on that. What else do I want to show you specifically in this? So Wikipedia is super important. I think fulfillment is going to be kind of important as well. So like essentially how we build out our client folders. We have these templates at the top here. I'm not going to open up the individual folders. But I want to show you guys like kind of the client folder, right? So we have our onboarding process in here. Would highly recommend if you guys don't have a documented onboarding process, one, to document it, but two, actually have those steps built in to a template when you onboard a new client. So when we onboard a new client, a new folder gets created immediately, and then these are our steps to onboarding a new client. Right? There's some automated things in our onboarding process. So these steps 1 through 8 are just the things that need like the human touch to it. So whether that's, hey, copy the new client folder, welcome, send them the welcome Slack message, right? We have this all scripted out inside of here, which is kind of nice. And then we have like literally copy and paste, follow this link, and then they get moved into. I can show you guys our onboarding doc here. which is a ClickUp doc, by the way. So once again, everything is housed inside of ClickUp for us. So like this is what our new clients will get when they onboard with us. Welcome to Hydra, a little welcome video, right? And then welcome them in, right? And then from there, they'll get into the onboarding form. And then once again, this is a ClickUp onboarding form. So they can fill this out. This is for us. We send our clients like a little onboarding gift as well. So they put in like their address in there. We send them a nice little book. And then we list out all the resources that they should have access to. Um, Software that they should have access to. We have some bonus channels as well they can be added to. So there's a lot of things that they need to have access to. And then some best practices for success. We have a little video here that they'll utilize, actually, a couple videos that they'll utilize. Um, that way, they have a good idea of like, hey, how to best have success inside of this program. So this is the level that you can take your onboarding to. It's really simple to do. You can do this like in Notion or Monday.com as well. I don't, obviously we don't use that platform, so I'm not going to show you on there. But yeah, there's some really easy ways that you guys can implement this into um, into your own agency. Okay. So that is the welcome Slack message. And essentially, like each of these onboarding structures breaks out into a couple different things. And we tag some of these systems as well. That way we know, what part of the process this is, whether it's for a Hydra client or a Phoenix client, right? But like we have things like setting up their KPI tracker, adding them to calendar events, adding bookmarks to the Slack channel, right? And there's a Loom video. So this is kind of like what the full system looks like. Here, let me zoom out on this a little bit because it's a little bit too blown up. There we go. Okay, so we set up like two columns on this one. So on the left hand side, we have 6.1, which is like, hey, open up the client Slack channel, add these links as the bookmark. So we give them the bookmarks that they need to add, and then add new client to Hydra Community Slack channel, right? And then there's a video on this. So if they're like, I don't really know how to do that, we can have them watch the video too. So that way they have reference to a visual, and then they also have the step by step process. So that's onboarding. From there, we also have a profile, and I showed a little bit of this last week of like what we do inside of the actual profile. There's a couple things that we do. Like this is where our ad hoc tasks go for clients. So say like we needed to set up or we needed to get new copy on an ad campaign, right? So we do copy on new ad campaign. We tag the person in charge of that, right? And then we put a due date behind it. But this is for like any like ad hoc task, anything that is needed for that specific client will go into that specific profile as a task, right? That way it's not being, talked about inside of the Slack channel. We lose communication and then all of a sudden that task gets lost in Slack, right? That's what we're trying to avoid with this. So we utilize this profile often. And then you can also embed some views. So if you guys are using like attribution software or something along those lines, you can embed their profile or their attribution, I guess like data sheet into here through an embed feature. So which is really nice. That way, once again, you're not having to go to multiple websites. You can manage your entire client from one board, which is beautiful. Okay. Oh, or if you're just like using a Google Sheet, you can embed a Google Sheet into here as well. Okay. And then we take internal notes with all of our clients too. It's just a blank page for right now. We do have a template. We just need to update our client folder with this. Once again, we're even still working on some of this stuff, but we do an internal note section. What I love about an internal note section is we just kind of document everything that happens with the client. So when we get on a phone call with them, every time that we, anytime that we make a change to the ad campaign, like we're documenting those things inside of the internal note section. Okay. And what's really nice about this is that you can add sub pages into your internal notes. So like say you wanted internal notes for campaign management, right? And maybe you wanted internal notes for client meetings. You could segment those out, which is really nice. So like when you get on client meetings, you can make your notes on here. And if you're using like a note taker, you can just copy and paste those like an AI summary really easily into those notes. And you can just date this of like the day you held the meeting, maybe the topic of the meeting, and then you can just drop the notes inside of here. And then anytime that your team updates this client's profile, right? You can document that inside of here as well. And that way, if say a media buyer leaves you, um, you can see all the changes that they made inside of that ad account. Okay. So there's a lot of cool features that we can utilize here to keep tabs on what our team is doing with the clients, what our clients are communicating back and forth with us on. And these sub documents allow us to do that. So would highly recommend, even if you're like, for example, if you're running a creative agency, once again, you can use this for team meetings. You guys can utilize this on documentation of like creative strategy. You could set up, mood boards inside of here. So there's a lot of cool features that you can utilize inside of the ClickUp documents that other apps like Notion or even like a Google Docs would have. So I gotta change all this back real quick. Can I just Control Z it? No, I can't, unfortunately, because this is my template. This is actually what we use for clients. So let me delete those real quick. Let me switch this back to client notes. Okay, cool. All right. So let me know if you guys have questions on that. That's how we would recommend a lot of our clients in the agency space manage their clients. Just from like, once again, look at the simplicity in here. We have three separate things. Okay. And then once onboarding is done, we remove this from the space. So this gets completely gone. So we're just managing out of two things. Okay. Profile and then client notes. And you'll notice that our statuses here, there's not like a bunch of statuses. There's to do and then there's done. Right. Oops. Right. There's to do. How do I show you the statuses? Manage status. Okay. All right. To do and complete. Those are our two statuses. It's relatively simple. We don't have like 30 different statuses of like progress that we're moving clients through. So once again, simplicity scales. So we're going to keep even our statuses really simple. Okay. Now, if you guys are running like a creative agency and you wanted to have multiple stages that you progress clients through, then you could add. I'm not a big fan of changing the stages. I normally want to see to do or complete, but what you can do is you can add a drop down, which I think is that top one. There's a couple different ones. Yeah, it's going to be the drop down. So you can add a drop down and say like you want to do this as pre-production, and you wanted to do this as, oh wait, no, this is the field name. So stage, right? So this would be pre-production. You could do production, and you could do this as post-production. And the next one would be revisions, right? And then maybe like completed or something. Okay. Um, so you could set the stages inside of this column as like a drop down, and then you could move things around via the stage and organize it via the stage. So if you're doing more creative work, that's how I would recommend organizing it. And you can add colors to this as well. So if you wanted, we normally don't use red. Red normally means bad things, right? So we can add in different colors here based off what stage they're in, right? Yellow for production, maybe do that blue, and then revisions might be purple, and then completed, it normally means green. And that's the stage that we move through. And then you can actually create automations for each of these stages too. So if you wanted certain things to happen at certain points of your creative process, you could set up those automations really easily through this. If you guys have never played with the automations before, and you want to do, I'm gonna I'm gonna cancel this real quick. That way it stops freaking out on me. So I'm not gonna add that column. But if you wanted to create automations around like different stages or different that drop down menu, what you could do is you could come into if when this happens. So when the which I don't think the drop down is going to be in there. Okay, yeah. So there's no custom field, so you'd have to add in that custom field and then have um, added that custom field and then build automation around it, right? And then you could have it do something like you could have it assigned to someone else, like your post production team. There's a bunch of different options in there, so would recommend playing around with it. It's helpful. Felix asked, "Have you ever tried Monday?" Yes, absolutely. You used to use Monday fully. So we used to run it with our consultancy. We used it inside of our creative agency. Monday is great. I actually really do enjoy Monday, and I enjoy the visual of Monday quite a bit. But where it was lacking is the ability to share templates. So when I moved into the consulting world, Monday didn't have the option to share templates. So I couldn't build something out and send it to you on this live stream, right? Anything that I build out here today or anything that you guys technically would want access to, I could literally share that with you on this stream, right? Or in this video. Okay. So any templates that we have, and this was the game changer for us and um why we switched over. So if we browse our templates, right? We have a nice little pack of templates here for our agency owners of like, hey, here's our basic CRM template. And I can come in here and I can take this template, I can share it, and I can make it public facing. I can copy this link and I can say, hey, Felix, here you go, brother. Here is our template for our CRM that we're using or client management. Okay. So you could literally copy and paste that template and utilize it immediately, which is kind of cool. So that's why specifically I'm on ClickUp now. Literally that one feature was a game changer, right? And we use it as a lot of like front end products for ourselves of like, good lead magnets, things like that. Um Adam mentioned Adam is a project management master as well. He said, also, I will say Monday doesn't feel as collaborative as ClickUp for internal team. True. Yeah, I feel like there's less collaboration, less chat features internally. You want to have good collaboration in your project management software. You try not to keep collaboration inside of Slack. Adam also mentioned as far as a task delegation, holding team accountable. Yeah, for sure, for sure. I feel like you could just keep your team way more accountable to this. Cool. Let me know if you have more questions, Felix. So that's what we're doing for like more like the client fulfillment side. Okay. Hopefully that's making sense. Okay. Um, And then outside of that, I mean, those are like the main things. Like it's a relatively simple system. Like we work in more of a pod structure now, so like each of us have specific clients that we work with on a regular basis, right? Inside of here. So like Adam has his team, I have my team, Nicholas has his team. So we all have clients that we're managing as like the lead account manager for it. But for the most part, it's relatively simple. Okay. We also have our impact space. This is where we do all of our planning. So like across our entire team for the month, these are all the tasks that need to get done. Obviously, there's some past due ones in there, but there's specifically ones that we're working on as a team right now, and like everyone has their own tasks, right? So that's like an overview of like our impact list. And then we have like a check-in list as well. And then something new that we're bringing in is like team ad hoc. So team ad hoc meaning like, hey, these are just like random to dos I need people to do. And so like if I needed Adam to do something that wasn't on our impact list for the month and it was like a super fast like favor that I needed from him, I would just be like, hey Adam, I need you to build this automation for the CRM. And I could pass that to him and I could assign it to him and then drop a due date. Okay. So that's pretty much it, guys. Like that's what we use ClickUp for. It's simple. Like, and honestly, the more simple that you can make it, the easier your team is going to adopt it. The adaptation is the hardest part. Getting your team aligned with how your ClickUp structure actually works is definitely the hardest piece. And at the end of the day, if your team doesn't follow it because it's too complex, then it's worthless. Like you did all that work for nothing. So keep it as simple as possible. Like we have very minimum automations. We have very minimum features that we use. And it'll also keep your account a little bit cheaper too, because there's a few features that are a little extra inside of ClickUp. But there are some cool things that you can do. I know a lot of people that have very robust ClickUp systems, which there's nothing wrong with that as long as the team uses it. Okay. Felix said structured. If you guys don't know, Felix works over at Structured to implement ClickUp next month. I love it. Yeah, yeah. I convinced Schmitty to make the switch over to ClickUp. So hopefully he jumps in and does a really good job for you guys. So he'll crush it for sure. But yeah, ClickUp is goaded. Felix asked, how many times do you check ClickUp daily? Just in the morning, evening, or a couple times a day? Good question. I think it depends on the position mostly. If you're someone that's working a lot inside of the project management software, like for example, like a media buyer, I feel like a media buyer should check it like maybe like 2 to 3 times a day. Normally, I check it first thing in the morning, just to see if anyone. No one really assigns me tasks, so I kind of build my own task list. Every once in a while, my partner will be like, "Hey, man, I need to get this done," and kind of like our rule of thumb now is like, "Hey, it has to go and ClickUp." Like, like you could tell me over in Slack, but make sure it gets transferred over into ClickUp. Otherwise, I'm gonna forget about it because I get about 1,000 Slack messages a day. So we move it over into ClickUp and we make sure we assign it there. So I would say like maybe twice a day. Normally there's nothing in there that is like super urgent. Like if it's super urgent, like I'm gonna get a Slack message about it, and I'm gonna probably drop whatever I'm doing and work on it there. But if it's not urgent, we'll put it into ClickUp and we'll be like, hey, what do you need this by? Put a due date behind it, and boom, we're off to the races. Adam, what would you say your favorite feature is besides templates? Templates was a game changer for me, man. Um, Good question. My favorite feature for ClickUp. Um, Probably the documents feature, which is super simple. Like most platforms have documents now. Like Monday has it. Notion probably has hands down the best documents because it is like a massive document. But Notion has probably the best one. But I really have grown to love the document feature inside of ClickUp. It's actually works really well. You can do a lot with it. I love that you can build sub documents inside of it. So, like for an example here, I'll kind of give you guys an example of our sales wiki, which we're still once again building out. But like this is our sales team Wikipedia, right? This is kind of like all the information that we need for for the sales team. So, like we have the account executive scorecard, right? And we can expand all of these little areas here. And this is like anytime we bring on an account executive, like we bring them through this as a training, outcomes and KPIs, competencies, position description, right? So there's a lot of things that we can build inside of here. But I absolutely love the documents feature inside of ClickUp, right? So it's like you can see the account executive wiki and everything's that's inside of here. So there's a lot of cool things. Yeah, we have a sales and acronym list sheet. I don't even know if this is finished. I think it is. Yeah, there we go. Cool. Yeah, we got all of our sales acronyms and stuff to train our team up, just in case they're not as familiar with the marketing terminology, right? So there's a lot of cool things that we have inside of here. Um, so that's just an example. I would say probably the documents feature is my favorite. Everything else is pretty simple though. Like I said, we definitely don't use ClickUp to its fullest capacity, which in my opinion is fine. Um, do what works for you, right? You can give it all the bells and whistles you want, but at the end of the day, if it doesn't work for your team, if you don't utilize it fully with your team, it just doesn't work very well. So and that's pretty much it, guys. Are there while I have ClickUp open, while I'm sharing my screen, do you guys have specific questions on ClickUp? Like, are you looking for it to do something specific? Are you stuck somewhere? Do you not understand a specific structure? Do you run an agency that you're like, hey, like I don't know how to build this out? I can even build out like a little test space for you if you want. I've got one here that I just kind of play around in. Adam said, great answers. Simple scales, baby. Always simple as scales. Yeah, so some other cool features, as you guys are kind of dropping some more questions into chat, I can kind of point out some cool features inside of here. So, if you guys are unfamiliar, if you wanted to add more statuses, which I'm always a fan of not having a lot of statuses, but you can customize all of your statuses in here. So the ones that we use are to do, in progress, and complete. We keep it really simple, but you can always add more statuses as you need. They also give you some like recommendations, like for like content statuses, so like ready, writing, approval. I probably wouldn't use these as my content statuses. Normally, it's going to be like pre-production, production, post-production, like those types of things. But you can customize all of those, which are relatively easy. Uh, Adding new fields is really easy too. I mean, there's so many fields that you can add inside of here. One thing I haven't played with too much are like the relationships and roll-ups. Once again, it's just features where I'm just like, why? Like, what's the point? Like, are tasks really that complex? Maybe for some businesses, but like agencies are relatively simple. It's like, why do we need all of these like crazy features and stuff? I just don't think you need it, in my opinion. Um, but yeah, you can add new columns relatively easily. The automations are super user friendly as well. If we build out a task, so we'll just say Josh. If we jump inside of a task, there's some really cool options inside of here too. Like if you're wanting to collaborate inside of a specific task. So like we use this in creative quite a bit. My head of creative, Tyler, we'll drop comments inside of here, which can be super helpful. Of like, he'll drop the video in here, and we can actually make edits straight on the video and comment directly on that link. And then we could say, hey, this is oversaturated, which is probably not what I would say to him because his coloring's pretty good. Okay, saturated. Okay, and then I could comment that to him, and you could even assign this to him, like, hey, this is oversaturated, and I don't think anyone else is in this space, but I could tag someone in here, and then when they finished it, they could come in here and specifically resolve that, and I can see like, hey, this task was actually resolved, or that comment was resolved, right? Um, you can add some more to dos in here as well, subtask and checklist. Like once again, there's a ton of features in here that can sometimes just not be necessary. Like, why do you need a checklist if you have subtasks? I don't know, really. To be completely honest, like this is like the same thing as a subtask, pretty much, a checklist. But you can also have more descriptions in here. So if you want to like give a description on a video, you want to like, hey, I want this to be the hook. I want this to be more in the body. I want the body to have 3 seconds of this clip, right? There's some options that you can do in here. You could give the description inside of here of like the creative that you want. So you can add attachments as well. So if you don't want certain logos in there, so a ton of features, ton of features. The one thing that we don't really use is relationships. I just haven't found a use for it yet, to be honest. I think it's cool, but a little overkill in my opinion. Little overkill. Any questions coming in? Comments, questions, concerns, epiphanies, takeaways? Happy to answer any questions for you guys. Hopefully that was kind of helpful. So your stream's laggy. Well, it's probably because like 4 of us are connected to Wi-Fi right now. Cool. I don't see any other questions coming in. If you guys do have more questions, feel free to like shoot me a DM or something on Instagram or Twitter, wherever I'm posting on socials. Happy to answer questions for you guys as well. But once again, guys, keep it simple. I think a lot of times we feel like we need to add all these features because they're available to us. So Felix said, "Not lagging here, but interesting that you're using Windows gamer question mark." Yeah, so I have a PC at home. I do game a little bit. That is something that I do on a regular basis. It's my way to unplug. So yeah, I play some games for sure. But I my mobile setup is Mac, so I use both. So I keep up to date on both. That way I can use both no matter where I'm at. So I do use a PC. I do enjoy it. Just from a desktop standpoint. But if I'm mobile, Mac is definitely the way to go. I'll stop sharing screen for a second. Hopefully that stuff's helpful, guys. Not a super long training today, but hopefully impactful. You should start streaming games on Friday. Maybe, maybe. We'll see. Could you do a ClickUp GHL internal ops workflow? Yeah, man, definitely. Like, what specifically would you be looking for in a like ClickUp GHL internal ops workflow? I kind of showed early in the stream. I don't know when you got here. What I am using currently inside of my dashboard, but I actually embed my GHL opportunities list. It'll load here in a second. My opportunities list inside of this dashboard. I have it super zoomed in right now. I'm normally not this far zoomed in, right? So I can see all my opportunities here inside of my ClickUp, or inside of my my personal dashboard, right? This is something that I just utilize on a regular basis, and I just don't like leaving ClickUp for much. So if I can like house it all in ClickUp, I keep it in ClickUp. So I put it all right here for myself. And this is just an embed feature, really simple to add in. So you just add a card in this top right hand corner, and then you just do an embed feature. And then you just literally take like whatever part of GHL that you want, and you can embed it straight into ClickUp. So Manifest Saint said, "Dope, I needed this." Well, great. I'm glad it was helpful, man. Hopefully I covered enough for you guys today. If there's like something specific you want me to dive into, like if you're not sure how to structure this appropriately, let me know. I mean, you know, I think sometimes we'll see like other people's ClickUp systems. Hopefully I showed you like how simple ours is and that you just don't need a ton of crazy stuff. Um, Oasis said, just in general service delivery. Hold on, let me pull this up. Just in general service delivery, like first the team would do rep management, then build ads in Facebook, etc. Yeah, good question. So you're kind of saying from like more like the yeah, I feel like I understand what you're saying. Adam, come here for a second. So essentially, you guys built out GHL, um, but it was like more of like the white label model, right? Like that's kind of what you guys are using GHL for. I know you guys built your own app eventually, but yeah. So he's saying like, hey, could you do like build the ads in Facebook? I don't know. I don't know what he's asking. Just in general, service delivery, like the first the team would do rep management, then build ads in Facebook. Like how would your team work together to get this done? So essentially what you would have to do is build out the client profiles that I showed a little bit earlier. So let me zoom back in. Yeah, with the onboarding checklist and all of that. So let me show you this one more time. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's definitely a couple different like areas to kind of talk about here. Oasis or Oasis. Sorry, I keep calling you Oasis. Oasis. Um, so on the fulfillment side, so if we go into like our templated folder here, right? This is what our template looks like. We have like the onboarding steps that we need to go through with all of our clients, and then we have like an ongoing profile. So like we might have like this is specifically for consulting, so it's a little bit different. But if I was doing this for ad management, right, I would probably have like some ongoing tasks, recurring tasks that need to be done, like making sure like we're swapping creative, writing copy for like there might be like a specific list of things that you need to get done with your ad team. So I would build that out inside of the profile and manage everything inside of the profile. Now, you might deploy ads, obviously you deploy ads through Facebook and in the ads manager, but you want to keep track of like all the things that you do inside of like a client note section, right? So anytime you make changes to your to those accounts, we want to document that, right? So all of that would happen inside of ClickUp, whereas in like that initial setup, like you'll have a separate onboarding list specifically for that, right? So I think you could do most of that inside of ClickUp. Obviously, like the changes will happen on Facebook, but hopefully that makes sense. Sorry, man. Question's a little blurry, but let me know if that makes sense. Yeah. So the collaboration would happen inside of here. So like you would have certain people tagged in on this client folder to work on things like creative, like copy, all of that. Like everyone would be inside of this folder with you and everyone would work on it collaboratively. So you'd have like your creative director maybe in there, like your production team, you would have your copywriters in there, your account manager, all of that, all of them would collaborate together. And then eventually, what you could do is like when you had enough clients, you'd structure it into like more of like a pod structure. So this is what our pod structures look like, right? So where we're managing, 8 to 10 clients all at once under one pod, right? So there's a team for each of these pods that manages a certain amount of clients, right? Let me know if that makes sense. Okay, you said I got it right. Perfect, perfect. Felix said, "Are you using Miro for collaboration as well, or does it get too complex for your teamwork?" Yes and no. So we use our ops team uses Miro to do like a lot of our workflow as far as like when we're building out a new process, we'll map it in Miro first, and then we'll bring it over into ClickUp and build the SOP for it. So for an example here, we don't have anything embedded, but if I pulled up, I don't know if this will pull up. No, okay, hold on. Let me reshare my screen here. Mm-mm-mm. So if we go over into Miro for a hot sec here, there's the agency therapy stream board. But if we go over into the Hydra HQ, for example, like all of my team has access to this, but like say it's kind of a shit show in here right now. Don't look too closely. Um, but like one thing that we've been really focused on in the last like 90 days has been building out our sales structure. And so this is just our whiteboard. This is like where we just collaborate regularly, and we'll start building out pieces of our sales process, right? So this is like our high level sales process. This is how like we ideate on pretty much everything when it comes to us building out processes. So we'll map it out at a high level because obviously this isn't a, like, yes, it's detailed, but it's not like detailed down to like the SOP, down to the actual system. This is a process. So remember the hierarchy goes process, system, SOP. So process being high level overview, system being how do we bring people and automations and software into it. And then finally SOP of like, hey, if it's touched by a human, it needs a standard operating procedure on how to actually do that. Okay. So this is what a high level process would potentially look like. So for example, like there's a start and stop to all of this. So the white quick overview on the legend here. There's a start and stop. There's an automated process, human process decision. Okay. So start and stop just means, hey, this is where the process begins. This is where the process ends. Automated process, just anything that we can take over with automation, zaps, whatever it is, we're going to use an automated process. Human process, obviously anything that a human touches. And then decisions at certain points in the journey here, you're going to notice that, hey, there's either a yes or a no route. And if there's a yes and a no route, it gets a triangle or a diamond. A diamond, not a triangle. Okay. Shapes 101. Okay. So for us, like we have a couple different places that we get leads in from. So like more like the call bookings or opt-ins. When that lead comes in, we might have to call them within the first 5 minutes. They answer. This is one of our first decisions. So if they answer, yes, we try to book them on that discovery call. No, we call them back again. Lead answers. We leave a voicemail, email, SMS follow up. That's all automated, right? But this gives us what the high level overview looks like. And then from there, what we'll do is we'll come in and zoom in specifically on specific parts of this, right? And so, like for an example here, agency audit, which is right here. So they get on this discovery call, they're qualified, they'll get a manually booked appointment, and then they'll get added to a reminder sequence. So this reminder sequence is what we just built out here. Okay, so we call like it's really like a proposal call is what it comes down to. It's like this is where we pitch our offer, but we'll build this all out in Miro first, and then we'll go and apply it because when we can map it out, it makes it very clear and concise of like the steps that we need to take versus just going and building out random segments. So for that part in the process, well, then we come down here and we build up the actual system. So the agency audit session confirmations, reminders, these are the confirmations that go out and specifically the text around those. And then we do reminders and email nurtures depending on how long out that client is, right? So if they're 3 days out from their appointment with us, well, this is where the email nurture would start, right? Which is like success isn't the norm. And then we have, people that have one inside of our program, things like that. More email nurtures down below here. Okay, so this is 2 days before. We include some video testimonials from some of our bigger case studies. More email reminders. Okay, so these ones are just quick, fast ones. Okay, a day before, and then we do 1 hour before, some staggered text messages, and then 20 or what was this 1 hour before, and then we do one 20 minutes before. So we send a lot of a lot of reminders, a lot of automations to specifically get people on that call, right? Because we want people to show up, so we literally bombard people with that stuff. And as you can see, like we've built this out for a lot of different pieces. So like our VSL opt-in discovery workflow, the reminder workflow. There's a lot of pieces in here. And then we can go specifically plug those in. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. So that's kind of how we collaborate inside of Miro. We don't really embed Miro into ClickUp, just because like if I'm gonna go and work in Miro, I'm probably gonna go and work in there for 2 to 3 hours, and I'm probably not gonna open up ClickUp, right? Like doing a map out like that, building out those types of systems, that takes a lot of time and like really intentional focus. So that's essentially a very long-winded answer, Felix, but hopefully that makes sense. What other questions do we have? We got some people in here. Let's jam. Come on, you got my attention for a few more minutes here. What else can I help you guys with? I know that we're working on stuff. So drop it in the chat. Let me know, and let's try and fix some of what you guys have going on. If you want to come hang out with me, Felix, if you or anyone else, if you guys want to come and ask questions live, we haven't done that in a while. You guys can jump in with me. Here's the link. You guys can come hang out, and we can jam. Whatever you guys want, whatever you need. Drop it in the chat. Got a lot of people collaborating today. We love to see the questions. Makes the stream way more fun, way more interesting, more collaborative, right? Brings more value as well. So thank you for asking questions, guys. Really appreciate it. What else do we got? Felix. He said that was the highest level answer. That's what we like to see, man. I try not to go surface level. I try to go deep if I can. So we can chat on things outside of ClickUp as well. We talk about lead generation. We can talk about sales, fulfillment, HR, finance, whatever you guys want to jam on. We can go a little bit deeper on. So let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to pull up Diablo 4 and you guys can watch me run the campaign. No, I'm just kidding. We're not going to do that. That would be fun though. Maybe I will, Tyler. Maybe I will start doing that once a week or something. Pull up a little stream. We could jam on agency stuff. And we could play some video games. I gotta know if I streamed some video games and we talked agency stuff. Would you guys come and hang? That's the biggest question. Everyone's like, nah. Adam said, I once did a coaching call playing zombies on con. Adam, were you coaching or were you getting coached? That's the question. You were coaching. Okay, got it. Got it. Not with Hydra though. He looks at 1,000%. Let's go. All right, team. I'm not seeing any more questions come through. Felix at 1,000%. Let's go. Dude, everyone loves some games, you know? Everyone loves some games. Peter, you're joining late, brother. What's up? Over on the Facebook. We love to see it. We stream everywhere. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, LinkedIn. I think I already said LinkedIn, but Facebook. Yeah, I don't know. We're live on a few places. Peter said to watch the replay. Frickin' A. Let's go, bro. Peter, hope you're doing well, brother. Shoot me a message sometime. You're amazing, brother. Cool. If you guys need anything, seriously, don't hesitate to reach out. Shoot me a DM, shoot me a text message, shoot me a Twitter DM, whatever you guys need. Here to support you guys. I appreciate you coming. We do this every single week, every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central Time. So come and hang out next week. And if you guys want specific topics, let me know. Peter said, can you do a training on streaming? Potentially. Yeah, like what? Yeah, why not? Why not? I mean, it's relatively simple. I use Restream, restream.io. All you have to do is get it set up, and then you just hit go live, dude. Build yourself a thumbnail, a little YouTube description, a little title. You know how it goes. You're probably better at writing hooks than I am. So that's it, man. That's it. That's the training right there. You just got to hit go live, and then you just got to do it consistently. People show up. It's kind of wild. All right, fam. It's good to see everyone. Thank you so much for coming. We'll see you on the next one.